Well, it's good to be with you again and good to be at ADIPEC. And the last few years have been a roller coaster as always. And I think what we've seen is over the last few years, an underinvestment has taken place in the industry and demand has maintained and been robust. And so we're seeing an uptick now in investment taking place. And we think that will continue for the next few years. And you've heard this morning numbers like 500 billion being required per year of investment back into the industry to be able to make the barrels that are necessary.
لورينزو، هل لمستم انتعاشا في عمليات الاستكشاف البحري والاستكشاف البحري العميق عالميا خلال الفترة الماضية، وهل هو انتعاش مستدام في الأوفشور برأيكم؟
We've definitely seen a pickup in offshore activity, deep water. I think from the lows it's definitely improved, and we'll see a couple of years now of an uptick in activity levels. Is it back to what it was previously? No, but definitely it's a more sustained and uptick that will be here for the next few years. But I wouldn't say it's the old times of the big increase in growth and activity.
الغاز المسال شهد زخما كبيرا منذ بداية الحرب في أوكرانيا. كيف أثر ذلك على نظرتكم لورينزو لحجم المشاريع الغاز المسال عالميا التي سيتم المضي قدما بها في دول مصدرة كبرى للغاز المسال مثل أستراليا، قطر، الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية؟ ما هي الأرقام التي تتابعونها على هذا الصعيد؟
So we remain very optimistic with regards to the growth in LNG, and I think there's a realization that's setting in that natural gas is not just a transition fuel, but really a destination fuel. And as you look at the next few years, we've seen an increase in FID activity. Most recently, we've just taken another FID relative to increasing volumes, and we see over the course of now and the rest of the decade an increase in capacity required to the degree of 800 MTPA. And so this year, we think there'll be 65 MTPA, next year another 65 MTPA, and then it continuing in 25 and 26 between 30 and 60 MTPA. So strong activity, and we see a lot taking place internationally as well as in the United States.
لنتحدث بعض الشيء على الجانب الإداري لبيكر هيوز. بعد نحو العام لورينزو على إعادة هيكلة أعمالكم وتقسيم أعمال الشركة إلى قسمين، القسم الأول قسم التقنيات الصناعية والطاقوية، والقسم الثاني قسم خدمات الحقول النفطية والمعدات. كيف أثر عملية إعادة الهيكلة على تكاليفكم التشغيلية من جانب، ومن جانب آخر كيف ساعد ذلك الشركة على التركيز على هدفها الاستراتيجي للتحول إلى شركة تقنيات الطاقة؟
I'm very pleased with the progress we've made in 2023, and we announced last September going to the two segments, and I think it's helped clarify externally and internally what we stand for as an energy technology company. Very big focus within oilfield services and equipment, as well as then in the industrial energy technology side. And we've achieved the 150 million of annualized cost out that we said we'd achieve. And I think we're on the right path to continue seeing productivity and efficiencies as we go forward. But it's made us laser focused, and that's what's helped. It's simplified the business both externally and internally, and we see that continuing as we go forward.
تحديدا في قسم IET أو قسم التقنيات الصناعية والطاقوية التابع لكم، ما هي القطاعات خارج قطاع الغاز المسال التي تتوقع لها نموا ملحوظا خلال الأرباع المقبلة؟
You know, in the industrial energy technology, LNG is a big portion, but so is onshore, offshore production, where we provide compression as well as power generation. And I've been increasingly pleased with the activities in new energy. As we think about CCUS, we think about hydrogen, we think about clean integrated power solutions, we've seen an increasing momentum. And in fact, at the beginning of the year, we said we'd have $400 million worth of new energy orders. We actually achieved that in the first half. We achieved 440 million, and now we've taken up the estimate for the year to 600, 700 million. So there's a lot of activity in relation to the new energy areas, and that's a big part of the growth strategy for industrial energy technology.
لننتقل إلى النفط الصخري في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية، حيث شهد عدد منصات الحفر هناك انخفاضا بنحو 40% منذ نهاية العام 2019، وهو عند أدنى مستوياته الآن منذ فبراير من عام 2022. ولكن التقارير الأخيرة تشير بأنه نسبة إعادة الاستثمار لدى شركات النفط الصخري ارتفعت مؤخرا، فبالتالي هل هذا مؤشر على انتعاش النشاط خلال الفترة القليلة المقبلة، أم أنه يعكس ارتفاع التكاليف في الحقول النفطية الأمريكية؟
Well, I'm glad to say that Baker Hughes is more focused on the international side. On the North America side, though, it is a conundrum which is partially driven by the fact that it's more transactional in nature. You are seeing a rig count decline, and we think next year will actually be flattish to 2023. And so you'll see some pickup as you look at the second half of this year. But overall, it's a question of the productivity, it's a question of the efficiency as you're going to different acreage and also the second tier, third tier wells, and it's all a question of the productivity and efficiency. You do have inflation that's come in from a pricing perspective, and that is partially why you're seeing the reinvestment rate go up. But we see activity levels pretty much staying consistent next year.
إذن لورينزو، كما ذكرت أنتم تركزون أكثر على أعمالكم الدولية مقارنة بأعمالكم في الولايات المتحدة. ارسم لنا صورة عامة حاليا حول النشاط العالمي في الحقول النفطية دوليا، خاصة فيما يتعلق بالإنفاق الخاص بعملائكم في منطقة الشرق الأوسط.
Definitely, and as you look at 2023, international has been a bright spot, and as you look at activity levels, we've seen mid-teens increase over last year. And as we look at next year, we see double-digit growth continuing. And as you look at the Middle East, you've seen the announcements by ADNOC, by Aramco, but by many of the national oil companies on the increase in activity levels. So as we look at next year, double-digit growth, not just in this region, but also as you look at other areas, Latin America continuing to be strong, Southeast Asia, some of Africa. But for us, as a core focus, it's here in the Middle East.